a lot of people, you know, a lot of investors are talked about, truly. When people talk about great investors, I've heard a lot of names. We always hear about the oracles. I call them the oracles because they're together. The oracle, I call them the oracles. Rest in peace, Charlie Munger and Chintani. Get Warren Buffett. 100 years to Warren Buffett. You know, great stock picker, the best stock picker to ever do it, and the greatest value investor after Benjamin Graham, his mentor and trainer. And those are the greats who gave me the ideologies to to simultaneously build a portfolio to grow it how Warren started out and how he finished with Charlie with high quality stocks as well as looking for value and undervalued stocks. Why not have them all? This philosophy came from Peter Lynch. As own as many stocks as own as many stocks as you have the ability and wherewithal to know how to research and stay up on top of those companies and what those companies are about and the sectors and to do the research. If you're committed to do the research, if you're committed to spend the time and put in the hours that you have to put in to be able to own lots of individual stocks as an individual investor can organize a portfolio the same as a hedge fund manager. Now, what's the purpose? It all depends. Everybody's portfolio has different objectives. And what if you were building a portfolio that had three different objectives? What if you were building a portfolio for growth, retirement, and to print income out of the market to provide for your needs and your wants? Could you build a portfolio that a portfolio to meet three different specific needs? I wholly believe that you can. Like and subscribe. I see three people in this in the live stream. Can I please get 3 likes? Can we please get into a habit of liking and subscribing as soon as we come into the live? Like and subscribe. I'm here trading the market. You know, hoping that I could trade the market good enough to be able to become the owner of my first iPhone ever before the year's out. And so we could have crystal clear broadcast. And you know what I'm doing. I'm here trading the market. Absolutely, positively on a mission to recover any money that we have lost in the last few weeks, months, and to get this portfolio back on track to our objective of building $100,000 portfolio. Real talk. Building $100,000 portfolio. I mean $1 million portfolio. My objective was I wanted to have $100,000 portfolio by the end of the year, but that mini crash in April derailed my plans to have a six-figure portfolio by the end of the year. I was well on my way with the $83,000 portfolio in April of this year. And so um, the market is the market. And the market is this market that we trade today in every way: the bond market, the stock market, the forex market, futures, crypto, altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these different financial tools that we could utilize to take money that we earn from our day jobs and put money that we earn from our day jobs into these different financial instruments that then become ways for us to generate and earn more income and to grow and accumulate wealth. Learn to invest. It's like I said, it will be the best, one of the best things you ever do for yourself in your life is to learn to invest. Today is the last day to be able to join the CNBC Investing Club and get 4 months for $100, 4 months for $100. It's like $300 for the year. So 4 months for $100 is like it's a discount. It's a discount, and it's wholly worth it. You know what I mean? Some of this key lime cheesecake. It's that key lime cheesecake. You guys download the albums. Go check out the records. I'm also a record producer. We have artists on the albums from New York to California, and I would really appreciate if you guys would go listen to the music and give me some feedback on that when you pop in the live. Like, yo, the music was garbage, or, we went through some of the music catalog and, the projects. It's all right. I take constructive criticism. We've been doing a lot of homework today, and I've been doing a lot of studying on Forex and futures, especially micro Forex futures, which is what I trade, micro GBP USD. It's I like micro futures, and I wholly plan to God willing one day transition into futures, like the full contracts. But the micro minis it was a good way for me. Like and subscribe. I see 6 people in the live, but we only have 1 like, man. What's up? Do we have supporters? Do we have supporters in the live stream, or do we have what do you call those people? What do they call them? Trolls. Are you guys supporters or trolls? You just popping in and try to see what's going on and what's happening, or are you really supporters of the channel? If you're really supporters of the channel, please get in the habit of liking and subscribing. The portfolio is on the way back up. We had, if you go back and look at my broadcast last week, we had dropped down to as low as $24,000 in the portfolio value, and we back up to 38 today. We back up to 38 today. Total market value of the portfolio. We back up with those different investment percentages locked in. You know what I mean? So, and when people be trying to count my money and count my pockets, I owe my broker $18,000. Who you owe? Like, that's what I owe. That's what I owe out of this. I owe that out of this. So I got to double that. I need to double or triple that number to pay that back and have more for myself. If you buying stocks with your own money, why would you ever sell your stocks when the price go down as opposed to waiting for the price to come back up to sell? People, people. It's people who trade on borrowed money. I'm buying stocks on borrowed money. If the market go down and I get stopped out, then I could get wiped out. But all you have to do is wait for your stocks to go back up. When you're not a trader, when you're an investor, you have an advantage. You don't have to do anything. When you're an investor and that stock price goes down, that's a sale for you. I might have to panic because I'm trading on borrowed money. So when the stock goes down, my portfolio is at risk. You're not even supposed to trade on borrowed money if you're not a professional trader. So that just goes to show that I consider myself to be a professional trader. And there's been times where I've owed as much as $40,000. During the crash in April, I was up under $40,000 worth of margin at one point in time. I owed the broker 40 racks. I paid him. I paid the broker back 40 racks. If I didn't pay back the 40 racks, I wouldn't owe him 18 if I never paid back the 40 racks to be able to borrow more. But when people talking about what I do, when I have an ex-wife around the first of the month dropping my daughters off for visitation without no overnight bag, trying to force me basically to have to go buy them all new stuff and spend over $200 for them to be with me for the weekend. And just around the first of the month when my bills are due and I'm really printing this money out the market, my life is my life. I do this for a living. This is not for play, and I'm not ever claiming to be rich or be. I was before I lost my job. I was a six-figure nigga because I was making like 50,000 on my job, and easily 50 gonna make, you know, 40, 50 out the market, and then with my music income and other incomes, I make turn myself into a six figure guy, trading part time and with a regular 9 to 5. I don't have that regular 9 to 5. And so now what my objective is to scale up the portfolio as fast as I can because it's paying for my lifestyle while I'm getting ready to go back to school and obtain my certified financial planner certification. And also at the same time trying to use money that I make out the market to pay for and finance my music business. Which to create income out the music business, I need you guys to go stream and download the records. But the portfolio is on the way back up. It was 24,000 last week. We lost a lot of value. We lost a lot of value, and now we're regaining this value. And it takes work to do it. It takes concentration. It takes focus. It takes having to drown out the noise and people trying to be negative in your life. I can't do negativity and drama and arguments, and I need peace and serenity. I spend a lot of hours and time studying this discipline because people might look at the life. I'm not even successful yet where I want to be. I'm just maintaining, and to be able to trade and maintain. I'm thankful for that because I've heard stories about traders that attempted to trade full time and just being in the negative, sleeping in cars, and the market reversing on you. Um, Doing wild shit like going all in on a couple stocks or one stock, and that stock doing the opposite of what it was supposed to do. Um, you know, It's it's a lot of work. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of time that you have to spend consuming information and learning terminologies and what the terminologies mean. You know, um, once you start understanding and learning the terminology, learning the terminology utilized in fundamental and technical analysis, learning how to read Fibonacci candlesticks, learning how to apply the information that you take in when it comes to investing. Learn to invest first before you can attempt to try to be a trader. In my opinion, because I never was gonna quit my day job. I wasn't. Only way I felt like I was gonna quit my day job is if one of my artists got offered a major deal or something popped off so majorly with the music that it was like, okay, now it's time to boom, leave this job. Them, like I said, wrongfully terminating me, which I talked to my lawyer today. We came to a settlement number. They saying I'm gonna have to check, but I don't think that I'm gonna accept it. I think I'm gonna continue to go to court. I think I want more. I feel like that I deserve more and that I'm willing to fight for more. I do. So I'm gonna tell my lawyer when he calls me back. No, we gonna battle it out. Be it 1 year, 2 years. We gonna battle this shit out, and we gonna take our chances. We gonna win. No. This market about to do some wonderful things. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. All these people in the live without the likes. Like and subscribe. Corbin, what's up, Corbin? What's up, Teddy Torres? ¿Qué pasa contigo, Teddy Torres? What's up, Karang? Karang, Corbin, Teddy Torres. I think I think I might be a savage at the micros. I might be the first trader to make more money in the micro forex futures than anybody ever did. If I get a grasp in the research that I'm doing right now, and praise God, because that's a skill from the Creator, the Lord of the universe. All good things come from the Creator. Man, I'm so glad I changed my life. Like the best thing was running into Prince T. Rogers. ¿Qué pasa contigo, Joe? What's up, Joe? 2416. Robert. Vecrius. Robert Vecrius. Liam? No. I'm Santorio, Hector. Look at this market go. I'm trying to tell y'all, these gonna be some of your these are in my opinion, if you are already investing, as you desire to invest, you already investing, and you familiar with the Mag 7, Nvidia, Palantir, Meta, Apple, Tesla, Google. Amazon in that group, I believe so. Wow. Robinhood about to go. Robinhood about to hit 150 a share. It's at 133 right now. I see it's about to go. I see Nvidia is about to go. Palantir is about to go. I'm feeling like all the major indexes must be up right now. And damn, it's almost 4 o'clock and the market is about to close. It's a wrap. And hey, this is how my day went. You know what I mean? Tomorrow, Jesus, tomorrow, the word, the Messiah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahu Akbar, way up, way up. And it's closing bell. It's a wrap for the regulation hour trade. Now the market continues to trade. In case you didn't know, after 4 o'clock, after closing bell, the market continues to trade. After hours market trading up until about 8:05, you'll get your last order in. The stock market technically closes at 8:15. You can still buy and sell stocks up until 8:15 every night. And so if you didn't know that, after the stock market formally closes at 4 o'clock p.m. on Eastern Standard Time, that you could still trade stocks up until 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, now you know. Now you know. Thanks for subbing, Robert. Riza Kodean. Riza Kodean. Sí, yo soy un Muslim. I am Muslim. Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum. So let's go to, you know how my regular days go. After a day of trading, I just really want to see what is being said by the analyst on financial news. So let's go to closing bell.
Big tech, you had 5 of the Mag 7 actually closing in the red, including Microsoft and Nvidia. While the mega caps struggled, though, the broader semiconductor sector actually held up. Both SMH and the stocks gained roughly more than about 1%. You can see the stock's up 2%, on pace for 8 straight days of gains, the longest streak since mid-September. Adding fuel to the chip rally, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang was on Joe Rogan's podcast saying
the chip rally is not threatened. I hold shares in the SOXS. That's an inverse trading. That's an inverse leverage trading instrument that if you hold it when the semiconductor chips go down, that financial instrument will go up. It will increase in value. That's your leverage against the semiconductor trade having a downturn. The
SOXS estimate. Revenue came in line. Also key is the current remaining performing obligations of $29.4 billion.
As far as NVIDIA, NVIDIA being down, anybody not buying NVIDIA, in my opinion, at the price that it's at, they slipping. They feeding it to a bunch of hype that's invalidated.
AI agent platform is going to let us set the longest accounts in production. That means clients that are transitioning from pilot phase to deploying AI agents has increased 70% quarter-over-quarter. Now that is up from 60% in the previous quarter. They also add that 50% of Agentforce and Data 360 customers are coming back and expanding their partnership. That is up from 40% last quarter. Also worth noting, annual recurring revenue for Agentforce and Data 360 reaching $1.4 billion, up 114% year over year. So all of this is fueling confidence clearly from management because the company is raising its guidance for the fourth quarter and the year. The stock is responding up 9% here in overtime. Morgan and John?
Yeah, that AI strategy, Agentforce, that of course you just mentioned, that's really what investors care about. We see it in the stock right now. Sima Modi, thank you. Don't miss Jim Cramer's exclusive interview with Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff. That's tomorrow on Mad Money.
Well, let's turn to the bond market now for a look at how the ADP report might have affected perception of the Fed's likelihood to cut rates. Rick Santelli is in Chicago with that. Rick?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that the rate cut is a positive for equities, but there are a lot of other moving parts going on here, especially higher rates in Europe. If you look at a week to date of 10-year, we popped early in the week, we're coming in backfilling. Basically, it's a sideways week. We broke through the range on Monday, now we're coming in back and testing that 04 to 06 level in 10s. Now let's look overseas. These are three charts. That's the Bund, the German 10-year, that's the O, the French 10-year, and that's U.S. 10-year. And what you should notice about that is the lowest line on that chart is the U.S., the middle line, the green, is France, and the highest line is Bund's German. So over the last month, the U.S. rates definitely are more to the downside. Europe's rates are moving higher. That may be another reason capital is flowing here, because the rates in Europe aren't going up for good reasons. They're going up for debt reasons, for tax reasons, for a lot of slowing economies, not to mention that the price of electricity in the German economy is multiples of what it is in the U.S. And finally, how does that all pan out? Well, here's something important. If you look at 10-year minus the 10-year boom, that distance now is the closest it's been in nearly 2.5 years. And that is something important to pay attention to, because the U.S. economy, based on many different multiples like Atlanta GDP now, certainly looks like the slow patch might have a very short runway, but the slow patch in Europe may have a significantly longer runway. Morgan, back to you.
Yeah, and in fact, we're in a Fed pick here too, and what that could mean, we've seen that play out with the dollar as well. Rick Santelli, awesome stuff, thank you. This morning's weak ADP report raised the odds of a rate cut next week, but did it also raise the odds of a year-end rally? Well, joining us now is Barbara Duran from BB8 Capital Partners and Kevin Gordon from Schwab Center for Financial Research. Great to have you both here. Kevin, you're on set. I'm going to kick this conversation off with you. What are markets telling us here? If we dig below the top line of the S&P, which is continuing to eke out gains here, at least right now into year's end, what is the movement on the sector level thing on?
Yeah, so I think the sector performance mix over the past month or month and a half has been really important to look at. You know, much to the divergences that Christina was pointing out earlier on the board, the small versus large, or growth versus value, cyclical versus defensive. What has really looked like, what the market has really looked like in the fabric of leadership over the past month has been really this digestion phase for something like tech and a lot of the winners so far this year. Outside of those and into some of the laggards, I think about healthcare and energy and some of the better performing sectors over the past couple of months. Those have really come back up, mostly because I think from a sentiment perspective, I mean, you look at how much they just got thrown into the waste bin earlier this year relative to the index, or just in absolute terms, those sectors have really been forgotten. So a lot of it is a catch-up trade for what hasn't worked. But I think also, and importantly, and I think that benefit for the broader market, a lot of the more speculative and junkier parts of the market have actually sold off in a much sharper fashion, and hasn't really dented, what we think of as the traditional market being the S&P 500. So it's been more digestion as opposed to the start of some longer protracted correction, in our opinion.
Okay. Barb, I want to get your thoughts on the Bank of America note. They're probably the most cautious of the major strategists on Wall Street going into 2026. They only see modest gains for the S&P next year, but here was the line that jumped out at me. We also worry about the tension between AI taking jobs versus consumption remaining resilient in 2026. And so given that we just saw with Salesforce earnings, and on another day we get more tech results here in this hour, how to think about that push-pull between the labor market and the economy and AI adoption across industry?
Yeah, well, Florida, I think it is a very interesting question that is not answerable at the moment, because we've seen this in any major transition, whether it was the Industrial Revolution or any of the things, the adoption of the internet. Jobs are eliminated. You're certainly seeing already, anecdotal stories from college graduates trying to find those lower level jobs that a lot of automation
Hassan,
and AI
what's good? I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Typically what happens
It
is
is
other jobs are created. And
Cleveland,
certainly,
Ohio,
we're seeing
in
this in terms
America.
of AI, software and development, and all the things happening there. So, but right now, what we're seeing, there's also reduced supply, and that's widely considered because of immigration. We have reduced immigration. You've got the aging baby boomers who are retiring. So you've got a market that, yes, the labor market is slow, but it seems to be in balance for now. Even those ADP numbers, this morning, we're not great. They haven't necessarily reflected truly what's going on. And I think the jobless claims have actually come in less than expected the last 2 weeks. And those are current numbers, unlike a lot of the stale data we're getting. And that canary in the coal mine ain't singing yet.
That's a good sign. Then, Kevin, with all this going on, how much are you watching consumer sentiment? How much does affordability play in, and maybe how much reading into results of retailers like Five Below?
Yeah, the affordability aspect, obviously, it sort of made a big splash to the elections that we saw earlier in November in a pretty big way. And it's actually become one of our bigger themes, and it'll be a big theme in the Outlook when we publish it next week, around how it is probably going to become more powerful force in terms of this. We've started to call it a vibe-pression as opposed to a vibe-session, where you really haven't seen any pickup in a lot of these sentiment metrics, despite markets having done well, the economy continuing to grow, the labor market remaining in a relatively
everything is up. The Russell is up. I knew it. The Russell is up.
But I think that it'll
the
become a more dominant
NASDAQ
force
is
to the
up.
extent that
The
concerns
Dow
over
Jones
affordability,
is up,
especially as
and
you
the
move down
S&P
age
is
spectrum,
up.
if those concerns start to manifest in a way where it does start to affect
And
the
didn't I
electoral
say,
backdrop,
y'all,
you
that
could see an
I
instance
said
where
I feel like
fiscal
all
side
the
of things that
indexes
actually
are
starts
up,
to change the game
and
a
they
little
are.
bit. I think it's still too soon to say that that's going to be a definitive shift. We'll probably have to wait
was
until
meant for this
the
life.
midterms for a more
The
definitive
life of
result
an
on that.
investor.
But I do think it's going to become a more powerful
It's a
force, especially
beautiful
because
thing.
you have this really large segment of investors, consumers, individuals.
Imagine being able to work your day job
markets like housing, but
and,
also just
and,
not
and learning how to
invested
trade
in
stock
equities for
options
a long period of
contracts
time to not feel a lot of the upside that maybe older investors have.
get to a
And
level
with all that on the table, Barb, as
where you just go to work
thinking about their portfolios,
because you happen to like your job and doing what you do,
would you advise going
but
diversification?
you're slowly setting yourself free from options contracts,
A lot of what we saw today in the
from
sector rotation
buying
was,
stocks
in my view, just a knee-jerk
low,
reaction to the
doing your
prospect of
research,
lower
buying
rates.
stocks
And
in
that's
good
typically what you
companies,
see
companies
rate-sensitive
that
names.
you
I still
probably
think you have to look. I
patronize on a
think next
regular
year depends
basis.
what you think the
You
growth is going to
probably
be. It
use
looks
their
like
products,
1.2%
but you never
GDP.
thought to own
Earnings
these
reports are
companies.
great. Forward guidance was good, but it is
But
not
you patronize
robust.
these
It's not
companies every
3 or
day.
4% at the
So when you
moment.
patronize these companies now, you are patronizing a business that you have part ownership in through your shares of stock.
Look at NVIDIA, has come off a lot. It is not expensive.
You heard what she just said. NVIDIA is not expensive. They're like, people should be buying these stocks.
We rotate into the laggards, as Kevin was talking about earlier. but then it comes back because it really has to do with the macro environment and what's happening with earnings and overall growth.
All right, Barb Duran and Kevin Gordon, thank you so much for kicking off the hour with us. With all the major averages higher, and actually the big outperformer today, Russell 2000 was up 1.9%, but the Dow Transport, which is economically sensitive, up 2%, perhaps in part because of those risky self-economy. Well, Five Below earnings are out, and Gabrielle Pond-Rouge has the numbers for us. Hi.
Hey, Morgan. So Five Below reporting adjusted earnings per share of 58 cents. That's almost 3 times higher than expectations, 24 cents. So really strong quarter. Also on the top line as well, reporting revenue of 1.4 billion. That's well ahead of 980 million that they were expecting.
Even Five Below putting out numbers. When you spend $5 or under at Five Below talk about their stores did billions in sales. Five Below. Come on, man. We Americans are resilient.
Or up to $3.54 per share, while expectations were $3.10 per share. And then when we're looking at revenue, they're expecting 1.58 billion to 1.61 billion, and that's ahead of expectations of 1.55 billion. And then, of course, we're also looking at what Winnie Park CEO said in the release. She had a little bit of tease from her holiday in her statement. She said, as we head into the holiday season, we are well positioned to delight our customers with unique gifts and stocking stuffers at incredible value and a fun shopping environment. So certainly a positive tone at the holiday. Not a huge
Don't forget
stock, but a lot of this was based
that
on stock is up about 55% year to date. So it's going to take a lot to move it up a bit higher.
Okay, Gabrielle, thank you.
there's an underground economy
As well, that stock came lower.
whose spending can't be traced or tracked.
Well, as we were discussing, John, the bar was
It's probably part of the domestic product.
on earnings, 35 cents adjusted. So
The
it's
GDP.
revenue topping expectations. But when the company looks forward to the fourth quarter, it's anticipating non-GAAP operating margins to come in at around 7%. The street was looking for 8.3%, and that perhaps is why shares are moving lower here in overtime. Now, in conjunction with earnings, the company announcing an expanded partnership with Anthropic's cloud models to Snowflake's Cortex AI. The company shares in this press release shares are down about 5%. We'll get
CEO coming up 6 p.m. on Mad Money.
Well, the bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery has helped make one of this year's best performers, but it's dragging on Netflix today. We're going to have those details next.
And C3AI shares are now fractionally higher.
How the fuck can Warner Brothers drag on Netflix? That's what I be talking about.
The company reporting a loss of 25 cents versus estimates for a loss of 33 cents. Revenue meeting estimates at 75 million.
Warner Brothers gonna have their content
coming in above estimates.
that people gonna flock to, and Netflix gonna have their content that people gonna flock to. You know.
The company's new CEO is going to join us after the break to break down the quarter overtime back into.
At PGIM, our ETFs use today's best ideas to help bring tomorrow's goals within reach. Our broad suite of over 50 low-cost ETFs is backed by 150 years of active management expertise. Explore PGIM ETFs today.
A nation isn't just built
It's powered.
by people like us.
Last year, Chevron increased U.S. production by nearly 20% to help keep energy reliable. And since 2022, we've spent $44 billion with local suppliers, supporting good jobs across all 50 states. But we're not done yet. Now we're investing $9 billion in American energy projects to help build the future, right here at home.
We put in the work.
Because America depends on it.
Learn more about the hands at work powering America.
I started Kitsch with one goal, rethinking how we care for our hair. Our Royce Water shampoo and conditioner bars are packed with proteins, vitamins, and amino acids which support healthy hair growth. Find out more at mykitsch.com.
Ready to add a Bitcoin fund to your portfolio? Get the Grayscale Bitcoin Mint Trust ETF. The Bitcoin Fund from the world's largest digital asset-focused investment platform. Just search for ticker BTC wherever you invest. Grayscale. Invest in your share of the future.
Welcome back. UiPath earnings are out, and the stock is up by about 10.5% right now. The company reporting EPS that beat by a cent, and reporting a revenue beat of $411 million. That's versus estimates of $393 million from the street. License and subscription revenue both beating as well. And the company giving fourth quarter revenue guidance of $462 to $467 million. That's versus estimates of $463 million. We're going to speak exclusively with the CEO of UiPath, Daniel Dines. That's straight ahead and before the analyst call.
And C3AI reported results moments ago. That stock is, let's wiggle around, let's see what it's doing. I'm going to have to look at a chart because you never know. It's moving around a lot after the company reported a beat on adjusted loss per share and subscription revenues, but missed gross margin expectations. You can see they're now up 4%. That happened quick. Joining me now, and first on the CNBC interview, C3AI CEO, Stephen McKinnon. Stephen, it's good to see you. So what's the status of getting the go-to-market motion fixed that really hit the stock earlier, and how did that play out in the quarter?
Yeah, I would say it was a solid quarter with a disciplined execution across sales and go-to-market. What we really saw was acceleration in our federal business. We also saw key blue chip customers, and we saw the ability to go up market as well with some high volume, high value, 7-figure deals. This is despite the headwinds in the federal space with a 43-day shutdown in the government. But overall, I'd say I'm very proud of the execution of the C3AI team.
Stephen, I hit you, and I apologize. So, what are you seeing demand-wise in industries right now, particularly when it comes to some of those crucial areas like defense?
Yeah. I have been in back-to-back meetings for the last 90 days with companies, customers, prospects, partners, and a consistent theme is desire to go faster adopting enterprise AI. And this is across their critical operations. I've seen this across asset maintenance, supply chain optimization.
Sophie vibes.
And we're really applying this across the federal government, Department
Go
of
do your
War,
homework,
civilian,
Sophie.
but also key verticals in energy, healthcare, manufacturing, and key commercial sectors. But a lot of reasons why I
tell everybody to listen to my records, Sophie.
A lot of the focus within federal government right now is to buy commercial off-the-shelf solutions.
Tell them to work out to Santorio Hector
adopting AI.
and listen to Santorio Hector records on all music platforms. I appreciate you guys tapping into the live streams. You know we about 360s, changing our lives. If we're going in the wrong direction in life, you know, change your life, turn your life around, 360 your life. You know what I mean? You can always change your life. You can always have a better life. You can always do better. Check out the records by Santorio Hector on all music platforms. Go download the records. Catalog is crazy. We still building and adding to the catalog. Go check out the records on all music platforms. We got a lot of projects. Just go check them out. Check out the records. You know what I mean? Thinking I might get you out, thinking I go into your heart, get you go into your heart, to your heart, to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. Thinking I might get you out, open the door to your heart, your closet tight, open the door, yeah. You out here trying to make a life with a blessing that won't love you right. He made you close up the pocket tight, but I'm thinking I get you to open the